pokers. Ted should do it. Yeah, the rectum. It's a classic.
Oh. Hello. The good ship Event Horizon here to warn you that the following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie Event Horizon. But I promise you, it will be one hell of a time.
Hello, I'm Adam, and you are listening to Diabolical Evil Schemes Done Better, the podcast where four long-suffering friends dissect film's most dastardly schemes, then try to improve. This week, we shall be competing to improve on the villainous plot of sci-fi horror Event Horizon. So, okay, Venus. Okay, Steve. Right. Let's go diabolical. Welcome to this week's episode. We have another corker of a show for you. So let's get things underway with the opening question and introductions. Please, can you tell me, do you have a favourite film that has some unseen footage or director's cut mythology surrounding it? We'll start with the best.
Hello, the best here. And, I genuinely racked my brains and I could not come up with a single answer to this question. So I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Well, you could have said Clive Barker's Nightbreed, because that took a while for them to get the extra material together, didn't it? Because it was like...
Seen that, though.
Yeah. But you could have thrown that in instead of just saying no. And then you could have linked to the episode instead of just being an arse and not doing anything.
What?
So thanks for nothing.
I thought you said one that we haven't seen, a mythical thing.
He genuinely racked his brain, Adam. Genuinely racked it.
Hang on, I'm looking this up.
Ben!
Hi, Ben here. And I too genuinely racked my brain, but couldn't come up with anything. But I remember reading recently that apparently Roger Rabbit was supposed to have a scene where the Toons were crying at Marvin Acme's funeral, and the service was led by Foghorn Leghorn. It had a picture of the storyboard that they'd drawn, and the speech bubble coming off Foghorn Leghorn said, I say today we commit the body of Brother Acme. Just what a great line for Foghorn Leghorn to have said.
Thank you very much. Craig?
Well, Adam, I racked my brain.
There's a lot of racking going on this week.
There's a few. I'll single out Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, as the one that I'm probably the most interested to see. I don't know how much additional content there is that we haven't already seen or what the cut is like, but as a complete movie, I think it's an interesting proposition. And the idea that it's two movies also really annoys the fuck out of me, especially because of this stupid rule Quentin Tarantino has about how many he's going to make. You can't count that as two. Who are you kidding?
No, it does count as one, doesn't it?
No, he counts it as two.
Yeah, I think that's right. Hang on.
1, 2, big fat poo.
Yeah, he's made 9, including Kill Bill as 1, and the next one is his 10th, which is his last film.
My pick was, of course, Lord of the Rings, which has the extended cuts, but there is still a lot of stuff they haven't included.
Crikey. Longer than the extended cut.
Yeah, the orcs of Moria chasing the Fellowship through Lothlorien. There is the fight in the Black Gate where, Aragorn fights a troll, but in the original cut it was Sauron in a different form. But then they digitally imposed the troll, which I think is probably a better thing. I don't think having Sauron. But I'd still like to see it. So, for that reason, I had to.
With an epic like that, there's always going to be stuff kind of left over.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was thinking about when you posed the question was the various versions of Dune. Obviously, we know that Denis Villeneuve has a longer assembly of Dune, but he refuses to release director's cuts of any of his films. And then Lynch's Dune as well.
Right, yeah.
Had a longer cut that he had to cut down. And then there's, famously the unmade Alejandro Jodorowsky Dune, which just sounds like it shouldn't have been made, to be honest. Sounds like fucking nonsense. Dali-esque nightmare that Ben probably would have enjoyed, but not me.
I'd have just sat there clicking my fingers, just going, oh yeah.
Drifting at the far end of the galaxy, empty but not lifeless, Weir or Mare patiently waits to be found and infest its unsuspecting victims with images of horror from a selection of films from 1997. So can I please have a Weir or a Mare for the following? The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Middle.
Yeah.
I didn't like it when it came out, but I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
people do like it, and it's made me think, oh, maybe I should like it. Should I give it another go? But I've not been asked to yet.
Yeah, you should definitely do.
Chris Tucker's in it. That knocks it down to at least middling for me instantly, I'm afraid.
Yeah. But on the other hand, Gary Oldman's in it, which bumps it up a bit.
Yeah.
And Ian Holm.
Yes, that bumps it up a bit more. But then on the other hand, the only other thing I've seen Mila Jovovich in is those awful Resident Evil movies. So that knocks it down quite a lot.
Hey,
But on the other hand, it's got Bruce Willis in it, so that knocks it up a bit.
don't you dare say those Resident Evil movies are bad.
Are you fucking joking?
Oh, they were absolute eye trash. They're amazing.
They do exactly what they said on the tin.
No, they fucking don't. That's one of my initial fucking criticisms. I went into it expecting a Resident Evil movie, and then the movie was nothing like Resident Evil.
Yeah, me and Mina like those. We went to cinema to watch them.
You need to watch Welcome to Raccoon City to get a real game vibe. It's really good.
That is impressive.
It's
Even
really
like
good.
some of the doorknob shots,
Yeah,
they really give fan service in that one.
yeah, it's brilliant. Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Face Off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nah.
I like Face Off.
Nah. I think it'd be a great one for this podcast. To be
It's got a
honest.
bit of a dud
A
ending,
lot of fun.
but it's so fun and silly.
Yeah, it is completely batshit.
It's too long. Far too long.
It is too long.
Last but not least, Copland.
Yeah.
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 Never seen it.
Do you know what? Copland is so good that even the casting of Michael Rappaport can't damage it. It's that good.
That's high praise indeed.
He's in it a lot. He's a key figure. It's not like True Romance, where he's just in it a bit and his character's called Dick. Oh, no.
We have already covered another 1997 film, Tomorrow Never Dies, in episode 75. I can tell you from experience, it's a very good way to spend an hour of your otherwise meaningless life.
The podcast, not the film, just to clarify.
Directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, Event Horizon is set in the year 2047, when a distress signal is received from the titular deep space vessel, which had disappeared 7 years previous, whilst in the process of testing a new kind of faster-than-light drive. A rescue team is dispatched aboard the ship Lewis and Clark, under the command of Captain Miller, played by Laurence Fishburne. Designer of the new technology, Dr. William Weir, played by Sam Neill, accompanies them and explains how the drive works. After hearing a distress call full of screams, the rescue team eventually board the apparently stricken vessel and discover scenes of horror and none of the crew alive. Shortly after, some of the team begin to experience strange visions and sensations as the true terror begins to unfold. Event Horizon was released in the UK on the 22nd of August 1997 and was a commercial flop, grossing $42 million worldwide over a budget of $60 million. Critics were also less than impressed, citing the film's over-reliance on gore, weak script, and failure to capitalize on its tense and thought-provoking promise. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds an aggregated score of 5.2 out of 10. However, in the years that followed, the film quickly became a cult classic and influenced other films and video games alike. With a TV series apparently still in pre-production, however, a much sought-after director's cut is likely never to see the light of day. Before we dive into what we thought of the film, I have some questions. Craig, styled upon Notre Dame, Paul Anderson had a crossover film lined up where the event horizon was a transformer based in Paris that turned into the cathedral and solved crime alongside his partner, the Pope. True or false?
Oh, let me think. What would that, if that was in the works, what would it be?
Optimus Prime. That'd be a good transformer, wouldn't it?
Optimus Prime. Yeah, it's got to be true. It's got to be true.
Of course it's false. It's what
Oh.
sort of forward right heart.
I'd have called it a Pope American transformer in Paris.
Or Roman Catholic transformer, crime solving, tall hat.
That'd have rolled off the tongue.
I know which one of you three I'll be taking to my Optimus Prime pitch.
No, unfortunately, it's false. I would love to see that as much as you, but no, it was a red herring. The best.
Hello.
To prepare for the role of Dr. Weir, Sam Neill actually went mad and travelled to an alternative dimension. How did he do this?
He did that by making the John Carpenter film In the Mouth of Madness, which he goes,
Ooh,
spoilers, he goes mad at the end of that.
it does go a bit mad.
Well, I guess he would have stayed mad after that, probably, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was made around about the same time, wasn't it? 95, 96, was it?
94, 95, I think.
He was made on the same lot and they just shuttled him over while he was still mad.
Hence the phrase, stay mad. That's where that phrase comes from.
Yeah. Well, he'd used a bit of mouthwash since appearing in the Mouth of Madness, and he got rid of the madness out of his mouth.
Ah, damn. Didn't know that.
I forgot about those in the mouthwash of madness commercials that they ran.
The mouthwash of madness gets rid of 99.9% of madness. No, he actually did it by huffing paint.
Ah, of course.
He'd go down to B&Q on a Sunday, just before the pensioners got there,
Yeah.
with a little screwdriver in his pocket, and he'd pry open the tins of paint, push it back down, move to the next one, find the ones with the biggest CFCs in them, and then he'd pass out. And by the time he regained consciousness, he'd tell people he travelled to another dimension.
Otherwise known as the Lon Chaney method, of course.
All right, Ben, what is your favourite colour?
Green.
That's good to know. Thank you very much. Right, now we have the answers to that little lot. We can dive into what we thought of the film. Ben, this isn't the goriest version that it was meant to be, so we're all good there. However, did it have you turning away for another reason?
No, it didn't. I mean, it's not groundbreaking by any stretch, but it is solid and I quite enjoyed it. I'd heard the title before, but I knew nothing about the plot. So I thought there were some nice twists and turns along the way. I thought the cast was really good. Laurence Fishburne in particular is probably my favourite performance of his. The only time I can think of him being better is when he says, "Yes," in The Matrix.
That is good.
The ending with the explosives was a bit telegraphed. I mean, it was obvious that was coming, and that was a shame. It would have been nice if they were just a little subtler, or a little more subtle, rather, setting that up. But that's a minor niggle. So overall, I give it, if you've seen sci-fi's best, why not try the rest, starting with Event Horizon? And that's out of 5.
Oh, 5. Okay, nice. Craig, let's have your thoughts next, please.
I'd call it like superior clag. As you say, it's not like a sci-fi masterpiece, but it's way above middling. There's so much about it to enjoy. I really enjoy the design of it. Like the core especially is like this kind of eldritch construct. You know, you would kind of expect Cthulhu to come out of it sort of thing. The effects, they've dated, but they're kind of fine. It's like a good use and it gets the point across pretty well.
Yeah, I thought there was only one where it looked really, really awful. Like maybe the first use of CG. And then the rest I thought were pretty good.
Floating bits.
Yeah, right at the start.
That is the thing I was talking about. But the other thing that I would say about that is the stuff floating in that empty space really sets an ominous tone really well. Like, it's very effective.
Yeah.
Feels like a ghost ship. And obviously it's like a ghost ship story, isn't it? So, but in space. My biggest criticism of it is probably the music. So you get at the start that one of my favorite Paramount ident transitions. That's fucking great.
Very cool. Yeah.
But the music is dreadful and it really ruins the effect of that.
And the opening credits.
The music in the closing credits is all wrong as well. It destroys the feeling that you sit with.
Apparently it's the Prodigy, that is, as well, apparently.
It's a good song. It just doesn't fit the tone at all.
No.
It's got some other striking images in it, like the guy on fire. I understand what you're saying about the splitting of the ship being telegraphed, but also it has to be. You have to set that up, because if they just said in the moment, oh, by the way, the ship can split in half.
Yeah, I get it. That's why I said I just wish they were a bit more subtle. But
Yeah.
it was so obvious.
It's quite derivative in some ways, the crew interactions straight out of Aliens. It could be somebody parodying Aliens in the crew, but the cast is so good. Like, Jason Isaacs, Sean Pertwee,
Pertwee's excellent.
Jolie Richardson, all fucking great. And obviously Sam Neill, who I've always been a big fan of. But Laurence Fishburne, I posted online about this. He brings like a kind of gravitas, and he elevates everything he's in. And his presence in this makes it feel like more than the sum of its parts to me. So yeah, I really like it, and I think that it's a film that would actually benefit from a sequel.
Yeah, well, this is the interesting thing about, I didn't know there was a TV series that's been mooted about for the last 6 or 7 years, I think. But whether we actually see it is another thing.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we won't see the director's cut is because all the footage was kind of
gone.
Yeah, not destroyed, but it was unattended and it degraded.
Sam Neill ate it all. He was still mad.
Yeah, there's apparently a VHS tape. One of the producers, I think it's Lloyd Levin, has got a VHS tape.
Okay.
With all Paul Anderson said a few years ago that he knew he had it, but then he was going to watch it, but he never did. But then he spoke about it again in the last couple of years, I think 2020, he said he's still not seen it. He's fairly sure that he's still got it, but they just haven't sat down and watched it. So
what, like that, Lloyd Levin lent it to him, and then he was like, "Oh, I'll watch it tonight," and he forgot. And he's going to watch it the following night. And then his wife was like, "Oh, I want to watch this renovation show with Stacey Solomon in it." And Paul Anderson was like, "All right, we'll watch that tonight." As the weeks went on, he just kept forgetting to watch it. And then Lloyd Levin was like, "Have you watched the Event Horizon VHS?" I went, "Yeah." And he was embarrassed he hadn't watched it. So he's like, "Oh, yeah, I did. I'll give it you back." And then Lloyd Levin went out to his house and took it back. This is what happened. So that's why he's not seen it yet.
Wait. Didn't Paul Anderson direct some of the Resident Evil films?
Yeah, all of them.
He did.
Most of them. Not all of them. Russell Mulcahy did the third one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
The second one was someone else as well. I can't remember who. But he did all the rest.
And that's seen it. So you got the mic there. The best, the best, the best. Can you make it 3 for 3?
Ben and Mina's love for the Resident Evil franchise notwithstanding, I would say that Paul Wankstein Anderson's finest film is Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Which might seem like damning with faint praise, but it is a very good film.
Yeah.
Like Craig was saying, it is very derivative. You got a lot of aliens in there. There's quite a lot of The Shining, of course.
Yeah.
A little bit of Don't Look Now.
Yeah.
And quite a lot of Hellraiser also.
Yes.
Which I think it does it kind of skillfully enough that you're not just constantly doing the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme.
Right.
I think it works as a homage rather than a pastiche in that regard. Again, similar to Craig, like the design of the ship, but it lacks a bit of cohesiveness. For me, it feels like a series of sets rather than a cohesive design at times.
Right.
Albeit very nicely put together sets.
I think that is meant to evoke a sense of pandemonium, isn't it? And you get that corridor that links you to the core, which has all the like razor blade rings in it. Obviously, that's quite symbolic, isn't it?
That's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you ever been through one of those corridors that they're meant to make you feel disorientated, aren't they? But it didn't do anything to me when I walked through it.
Where would I have been through a corridor like that?
They're in like theme parks and things like that over here.
Roll up, walk down the old razor corridor. See if you can survive.
It's why they keep the milk in the Aston in here, but I never go in it because.
Besides that, yeah, bizarre choice of end credits music, but he likes a bit of rave. I imagine he's a bit of a pillhead back in the day, old Wankstein.
Yeah, I really like the song. It just doesn't fit at all. What they should have done is played some like ominous music and then played that after it, and then I would have been on board with that. I'm one of these people who will sit through the credits for anything out of respect, and also to see people's funny names.
That's about all I have to say.
All right, Forrest.
Well, thank you very much. I was expecting a bit more of a hostile reaction to it, to be honest. I wasn't sure what all you would all think, but I'm very pleased you all enjoyed it to different varying degrees. And it's a film I've always enjoyed, but I'd never done a deep dive into it. So it was really interesting finding out about the lost footage. And sadly, that version we'll never see again. But it's one of those movies that straight away, it has you unsettled from the beginning, isn't it? Like we alluded to with the CG effects straight away at the beginning. It sets that tone quite well.
Opening credits withstanding.
Yeah, without the opening credits, yeah. But throughout, there's not a moment that you feel easy, that, you always think there's going to be something. The editing is a bit sloppy, I think. It did quite a good job, considering apparently the editing was cut from like 10 weeks down to 4 weeks.
But
He said he would take the cut down from 10 to 6, but then the second unit was still filming. So then he only had 4 weeks to do it. So pushing it through.
Yeah, I thought I'd read that he had to cut some completed effect sequences as well because they were too gory. And that's why a lot of it looks like there's scene missing kind of thing.
What, the studio cut it?
Yeah, they made him cut it.
Yeah, the studio, they were getting the dailies and everything, and they were seeing all these great effects, and they were like, wow, 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 great. And they were giving him free reign. But when he gave him the first rough cut, and then the test audience saw it as well, they were like, oh, it's too gory.
And is this the film where there's that orgy scene, that hellish orgy scene? Did he hire porn stars for that? And it was
porn stars and amputees. Yeah.
No, that's a combo I can be on board with.
Quite explicit, right?
Somebody say porn stars and amputees, count me in. But yeah, I was going to say I've lost my train of thought now.
That's what porn stars and amputees will do to you.
Porn stars, amputees.
We'll go on to favourite sequences then. Craig?
I feel like I've kind of already alluded to it, but I'd say the sequence when they first go into the Razor Tunnel into the core, it's just pure mood. Nothing technical that I spotted going on. It feels right. Just a nice understated sequence.
Very good. The best, the best, the best.
I like the miniature work in the docking sequence when the Lewis and Clark docks with the Event Horizon. I think it looks great, particularly sort of cutting back and forth between the crew reactions to the miniatures. I think not having them on screen for too long helps. And it's got kind of that punchline where they're clamping onto the frame on the outside, and Dr. Weir says that's not a load supporting structure, and Sean Pertwee's just like, it is now, mate.
Excellent. Ben?
Well, I'd like to put out a special mention for the superb runtime of 96 minutes.
I bet that tickled your fancy, didn't it?
Now I understand it was studio meddling that brought it down to that, but still, woo, that's the sweet spot.
Sometimes the meddling does the job.
And then I suppose the moment that kind of really made me sit up and take notice was when the medic sees her little boy and then she falls down the hole. That fall is absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Smacking off the side.
Yeah. That's a well thought out fall, isn't it? They've gone, not just going to have her like on a green screen falling down and then hitting the deck.
Yeah, that was really visceral. And then the other thing I liked was it was nice to see that CDs made a comeback in the future.
Yes, CD-ROMs. You never know when they're going to pop back up again. It's like they're doing now, aren't they? Like vinyl.
It's even better when you see them using tape. Like on Red Dwarf, they've got like triangular VHS tapes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. As for me, it's more of how hilarious it's another silly bit, I thought. It's the repairs they make to the Lewis and Clark, which essentially include sheet metal, expanding foam, and massive nails. That's like how my dad would fix a spaceship. We shall move on to favourite lines. The best, the best, the best.
Okay, I got a good one. So they find the tape of the previous crew at the start, and there's a big fuzzy bit. And then when they recover that, and it's shots of them cutting their own eyes out and hacking various bits off themselves and speaking in Latin. And then the second it finishes, Laurence Fishburne just goes, "We're leaving!" It's such a good line delivery.
Yeah. Excellent. Ben?
Mine's another Laurence Fishburne line, and he just simply says, "Someone drops the ball, we get the call."
Ah, yeah. Nice.
He's a poet, but does he know it?
I don't think he does.
Craig?
Gaz did a little impersonation of Pertwee earlier, and my favourite line is one of his, where invited to onboard the Event Horizon, he just says, "I'm not getting on that bastard."
I thought you were going to say about the bit where they're explaining. He says, "Oh, it goes faster than light," and he goes, "No, well, you see, you can't do that." My favourite line is Weir and Sam Neill on super duper villain form, and he comes back as the flame guy, and he goes, "Ha, the ship brought me back. I told you she wouldn't let me leave. She won't let anyone leave. Did you really think you could destroy this ship? She's defied space and time. She's been to a place you couldn't possibly imagine. And now it's time to go back." As soon as the team arrive aboard the Event Horizon, things go from bad to worse. Engineer Justin is temporarily pulled into the portal and returns in a catatonic state, then attempts suicide by blowing himself out of an airlock. As the evasive Dr. Weir continues to be influenced by the cursed ship, he descends into madness and places a bomb on the Lewis and Clark to destroy the rescue team's chance of escape. After Weir has gouged out his own eyes and dispatched crewman DJ by vivisection, he renders Lieutenant Starck unconscious only to be confronted by Captain Miller. Dr. Weir then starts a countdown on the gravity drive to take him and the crew back to hell. Ben, how does Dr. Weir's plan stack up with you?
I don't know. I don't know if it was Dr. Weir's plan. Seems like he was being commanded by the ship quite a lot, wasn't he? So he made some erratic choices. If he was really clever, he'd just got rid of all the explosives, wouldn't he? Put it all on the Lois and Clark.
Yeah. But maybe it would have ripped the whole ship apart then if he put too much bombs on there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, all I'm saying is there's got to be a better way to get the people into the gateway. And I'm telling you right now, I have solved it.
I was going to say, I better be, because that's the premise of the whole frigging podcast.
I'm giving Dr. Weir and the ship for their combined efforts, which are pretty close to successful, to be fair. I'm giving them 6 florets of other dimensional broccoli.
Deep space broccoli.
No, different dimension. They've got like little fishing hooks on them.
Okay, yeah, very good. The best.
I'd go along with that. He had multiple other opportunities, I would say. And he's like Jack, isn't he? He's more so being influenced by the structure that is in more than anything else. Not a great plan, but in all fairness, neither's mine.
We'll be the judge of that.
I finished it and I thought, well, there it is.
Is it like when you pick yourself off the toilet and turn around and look at what you've done and go, well, there it is?
Stay tuned, Peril Pals, for Gaz's underwhelming plan. Oh, sorry, the best, who I'm sure's plan is not as bad as he thinks.
Oh, just you wait.
It's magnificent, in fact. Craig?
Yeah, I don't think that I'd give him or the ship as much praise as all that. They don't exactly sell the concept of hell very well to the rest of the crew.
No.
So no wonder it leads to a state of antagonism. So the two options really, I don't really understand what Weir or the ship wants. He says what he wants is to take the crew with him through the gate, but he kills some of them or, gets some of them to kill themselves. Why doesn't he just either kill everyone or kill no one and just go to them, let's all go together. It'll be great. Instead of, ruining all their day.
Yeah.
Well, you've spoilt my plan.
Uh,
I'm not even joking.
well, one or more of us were definitely going to do that one, weren't we? So I knew it. Maybe 3 or more of us have done it.
Maybe 4.
I thought about that. It was, no.
Is that how you felt about it?
I don't want to say this because I was talking to Gary and Joe the other week. Hi, Gary and Joe, if you listen, by the way. And they were saying, we listen to your podcasts while we're in the house. And Aurora, my goddaughter, listens at the same time. So, Gary and Joe, if you're listening now, please cover her ears. Well, I thought that basically the ship is like horny for blood orgies.
You say that about every film.
I'm horny for blood orgies, so I can't talk.
We've got to the crux of it.
Anything else? Yeah.
Gary and Joe, if you are listening, please don't let your daughter listen to this filth.
Yeah.
Not a minute of it.
They said she listens as well, and she loves everything, including the swearing.
It's the best part.
And the pretend misogyny. Hopefully not.
Yeah, pretend. Yeah.
Fuck you, bloody women.
Hey, my
Can't live
mother-in-law.
with him.
Hey?
My mother-in-law.
Yeah.
She just flew in. Boy, are her arms tired.
So what I was going to say is, yes, they either needed to con them somehow or to ramp it up a bit more because it's a bit too subtle. They needed to go full-on temptation, drag them into hell,
Right.
or make it seem like it's a better place to be. It's a nicer place, and then surprise, butchers hook up your nostril.
Right.
Oof.
Does sound like we might all have the same plan.
Yeah, I reckon.
Well, only one way to find out, because we have reached that point again, folks. This is the part of the show where we all compete for peril points at the end of the show by offering our own diabolical plans. Even when Weir is sucked into the vacuum of space, yes, I said space, that's not enough to see him off. The event horizon brings him back, and he battles Captain Miller in an attempt to drag him and his crew to hell. However, Miller heroically sacrifices himself by detonating the spine of the ship to separate the engineering section containing himself and Weir, just before the gravity drive engages and takes them to another dimension. Could we help Weir and the accursed ship do any better? The best, the best, the best. What have you got for us?
Dr. Weir has been living in his own personal hell for the last however many years due to his wife Claire taking her own life. Captain Miller has been living in his own personal hell due to that guy that set fire to himself way back when. Oh, that guy. I'm not going to list them all off, but the point is that each member of the crew of the Lewis and Clark have a ghost in the attic, a skeleton in the cupboard, a doofer in the what have you, and a need for redemption. Therefore, instead of simply going mental, I propose that Weir proposed that this particular group of space truckers stepped forth into the gateway voluntarily. He came out fine, just a couple of shaving nicks to the face, and what happened with Mr. Justin was an aberration. As a man with nothing to atone for, hell ate him up and spat him out. The biblical concept of redemption is powerful and, oh, Lordy Jesus, we can all be redeemed by our own actions and stuff. He tells them that the real reason he created the ship was to gain access to the literal dark underbelly of the universe and march against the armies of hell. And who's with me? So they tool up and march through the gateway going, "Arrgh!" and shooting guns everywhere. I think you'll find there's no arguing against that.
How long did that take? 4 seconds.
It took 4 seconds to write. I thought it'd take 4 seconds to read.
It's got a lot of nice, fancy city language in it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Cinnabars.
No, I think that's a good plan. I like it. I do think that the likes of Lieutenant Pertwee will be like, Fuck that, Governor. No way I'm going to fight the hordes of hell. I'd rather wank myself silly and swim back home.
Then all you do is stick a piano in the corner and some jelly deals, and he'll be distracted then. He'll be playing Snooker Loopy on it.
Oh, excuse me, Commander and Doctor. I'm just going to get my knees up.
He'll be well away.
That does alleviate my fear there. Set everything straight for me. Piano in the corner.
If Dr. Weir gave them more uniforms to make them look like an army unit as well, like maybe a Pearly Queen outfit.
Yeah.
Don't they already all have a uniform?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they've all got nice name badges on.
Yeah, but a Pearly Queen with the little hats with the pearls on the jackets.
Where's he getting that from?
Well, he's Dr. Weir. He can make them think it, can't he?
Yeah, that's true.
Might be within his power.
Hallucinate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Suddenly they're all dressed up as Pearly Queens with guns. They'll be charging in.
Right, Craig, can you dazzle and delight us, please?
Well, if you like the best plan, you might like mine.
He had a good runtime.
Yeah.
The Event Horizon is a terrible salesman. Her ads for hell should have been more pitch and less fork. Killpack got his crew on board by leaning into the debauchery and holding an orgy. Could I? No, not with the wife watching. Besides, I've already cut out my eyes and sliced open my face, so I'm probably not going to win over the ladies. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Beyond that, most of our crew have reported seeing nightmarish visions, and the chances of their being horny are slim. Still, I need to somehow convince the survivors that we need to travel through the gate. And then it hits me. It's all so obvious now. I find Miller and tell him I've figured out what's going on. He eyes me warily and asks several questions about my face, but I give him the old, "there's no time" excuse, and he trusts my expertise, if not my intentions. Commander, I ask him, how are you doing financially? He responds to say that he doesn't get paid enough to do missions like this. Yes, I quite agree. And tell me, have you ever tried to open a pack of supermarket ham and the plastic tab just breaks, so you need a knife to open it? He concurs that he has indeed. And while we're at it, has he ever stood on a piece of Lego? Has he ever lost a pet? Has he ever seen one of those sad videos of children on children in need? Has he ever had to sit through the so-called fun parts of children in need? Yes, thrice yes. What is my point? Look at my face, I tell him. Look at what happened. Look at what happened to little What's-his-face, the ugly kid who went out the airlock. Look at what's happening all around us right now. He's now primed for a major plot twist. This is the bad place. The old HE double hockey sticks. We are already, right now, you and me, in hell. The Event Horizon is trying to save us, and if we use the drive, it can get us out of here. Miller is skeptical. Things were shitty back before the mission, but they were never this bad. Not until we boarded the Event Horizon, and that, I explain, is the problem. Hell can sense we're on the brink of escape and is doing everything in its power to stop us from leaving. Think about it. If the Horizon were trying to drag us into hell, why would it allow the crew to take their own lives and escape that fate? To demonstrate what I mean in layman's terms, as I tell him all this, I simultaneously peel a Satsuma perfectly, one big curly peel, then take out a segment and waggle it emphatically, as though it somehow represents something I'm saying. Then I use a clever-sounding analogy like, imagine the engine of the Event Horizon as a garden gate and yourself as a dog chained to a post. You want to get out of the gate because your owner makes you eat dog food and you're not allowed to sleep on the bed. Now, imagine hell as a Satsuma and the Event Horizon as a segment within. She wants to peel off its skin so we can escape hell together. That's what she was trying to tell me by having me peel off my own face. Miller is either convinced or too proud to admit he doesn't understand, so he agrees to let me boot up the drive and fly us all through the gate.
Isn't the tape time-stamped when the crew are mutilating themselves for when the Event Horizon was missing and in hell?
Might be.
So how does he convince them that they were actually...
Having a great time.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He's not trying to convince them that they were having a great time.
It wasn't screams of terror, it's screams of joy. I'm having a great time.
He's just trying to convince them that they're in hell now. So if he believes that they're in hell now, then the video could just be part of that. Doesn't mean the video is real. It's another hell vision.
Oh, okay, right.
Well, you know me, I'm an eternal optimist.
Yes.
And if there's one thing I believe beyond anything else, is that in the future we'll have easily openable ham packets.
No.
They would have done,
it by now.
Oh, shit.
Could land a man on the moon, but you can't open a pack of ham properly. I don't think so.
There was nothing worth living for.
20 years ago, we still had the same ham problems that exist today.
Exactly. They haven't gone away.
That same catalogue of ham problems.
Yeah.
You got to look at how technology, look at the mobile phone in 20 years, and now look at the ham packet. The ham's not getting any better. The ham situation's what it is. You just got to live with it. Like COVID.
Why won't people talk about the ham situation?
Because they want it to continue. They want the ham frustration to continue.
Is that how the man keeps us down?
Yeah, it's big ham.
It's how the knife business keeps going. Big knife.
Oh, the fucking knife lobbyists.
That's right. They go to conventions and the guy's like, I've invented an easy peel ham packet. People don't even need a knife in their home anymore. And they just take him away.
So that's why the knife-related deaths are on the rise.
That's right.
But how much of that is related to ham frustration, though, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Vicious circle.
The old saying, I'm frustrated. Ham frustrated.
People keep saying I'm ham-fisted. And next we shall have Ben.
The corridors of the event horizon, once echoing with the eerie silence of deep space, now resonate with the lively beats of tropical music. The stark, functional interior has been transformed into a colourful paradise, complete with faux palm trees and strings of vibrant lights that cast a soft glow over the harsh metallic angles. Dr. Weir, previously consumed by obsession, now wears a fetching Hawaiian shirt and fluorescent sunglasses concealing his hollow eye sockets. He bustles about, offering drinks in coconut shells and plates filled with an array of dried fruits. Raisins, currants, cranberries, dates, prunes, you name it. If it's small, brown and desiccated, he has it. As a way to apologise for my frankly appalling behaviour, I thought we could use a little fun, Dr. Weir announces, his voice awkward yet sincere. Welcome to the first Event Horizon Luau! The crew, although surprised by this gesture, can't help but be swept up in the excitement as laughter mingles with the music. And now, says Dr. Weir with mock pomp in his voice, time for the main event, the Limbo Contest! With a sweep of his arm, the doctor reveals a makeshift limbo stick, adorned with fairy lights and flowers, set against a mesmerising swirling backdrop. Hey, what's that mesmerising swirling backdrop? Asks one of the perceptive crew members. Don't worry about it, buddy, replies Weir. It's just a simple decoration I threw together for the luau, and most definitely not a gateway into a dimension of unspeakable horror. You have my personal guarantee. More punch? Completely satisfied by Dr. Weir's earnest reply and thirsty for more tangy punch, the crew sigh their collective relief. Now, yells Weir, how low can you go? As he cranks up the steel drums. One by one, the crew members take their turns bending backwards and laughing like hyenas at an improv night as they limbo under the bar. Hey, where's what's-her-name gone? Says one of the crew, noticing that their colleague is missing. Don't worry about it, pal. You're up next, replies Weir, knowing full well that no one has ever been able to resist the siren call of the limbo stick. As the last of the crew members shimmy under, Dr. Weir allows himself a self-satisfied smile. He's done it. He's pulled the old limbo 1-2. He wasn't sure if he would get away with it, but he did. He truly did. His hollow eye sockets look upwards as he recalls all the other famous people from history who have also fallen for the old limbo 1-2. Joan of Arc, Anne Boleyn, the original Paul McCartney, and Tupac Shakur, just to name a few. With a sweet taste of victory caressing his tongue, he leans back and shuffles under the stick into interdimensional bliss/chaos.
But what's Sean Pertwee doing during all this? Would he not just be like, fuck that, mate, I'm not doing fucking limbo?
It's too hot. I've got to wear my woolette.
You see, I've solved that. There was this line, you see. No one has ever been able to resist the siren call of a limbo stick. You see, I solved it with that line.
You did say that.
And actually, if he does refuse the limbo, which is very, very unlikely and actually unheard of, but if he did manage to do that, then Dr. Weir's going to pull out the trump card, which is the conga line.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. He'd be well up for a conga, definitely.
Why wouldn't you just start with the conga? You need multiple people for the conga. Get them all in at the same time. Although I must say, I do like the ironic symbolism of passing through limbo into hell. Very nice.
And there were some more notable figures from history who fell for the old limbo one too.
Yeah.
Marie Antoinette, River Phoenix, Bob Marley, Steve Jobs, Bob Monkhouse, Goliath, Enid Blyton, the original Aunt Vivian from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Jesus Christ.
There are some people, though, that would say doing a limbo or being part of a conga line is already their version of hell.
Name one.
Me.
Yeah. I think any sense that I had that Sam Neill was trying to give me a good night would evaporate as soon as he offered me a raisin. And it was fuck.
Party raisin? Oh, please.
Why isn't it fresh fruit? Like if it was a selection of fresh fruit, some lovely grapes and...
You know, the space packet food. They might actually have raisins in, I thought.
Right. He can turn the Event Horizon into a gaudy tiki bar, but he can't conjure up fresh fruit. He has to use NASA rations.
Hey, Event Horizon, can you make a pomegranate? No, not happening. I can make one out of blood. No, that's no good.
That's one thing it can't do.
Blood orange.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, I shall set course for the end of this show and engage. Yummy wummy crew. Nom nom nom. I want them all for myself and not a single one wasted. Down they go, down into my tummy. Yum yum, says the Event Horizon to Dr. Weir. Telepathically, of course. Weir returns to the bridge and tells the crew there is something catastrophically wrong on the vessel. Yeah, no shit, Doc. No, not that. Apparently, the gravity drive is leaking some dark matter, which is essential to make it work. But outside the confines of the drive itself, it's deadly. The crew of the Lewis and Clark check their data, and apparently, it's true, thanks to some sneaky manipulation by the evil Doc. Dr. Weir tells them that he cannot contain the leak remotely from the bridge of the Event Horizon and needs help to close certain valves in the engineering section to prevent the drive creating lots of miniature black holes that would rip the ship to pieces. Of course, he's talking absolute claptrap, but the crew don't know that. The drive could be run on jelly babies for all they know. Before leaving the bridge, Weir locks out the controls of the gravity drive so they can only be accessed from engineering. Most of the crew that are still conscious assemble near the engineering section, with Smitty still repairing the Clark and Starck on the bridge. Event Horizon plays some tricks on them to keep them distracted and separated. Once Weir has briefed his team, telling them that they must be quick and be careful not to touch any of the dark matter that was released, he sets them to work down the little green tunnels we see in the film, and tells them to meet outside once they've completed their task. Once inside the tunnels, it's down to the ship to keep them confused and scared senseless, whilst Weir operates the control panel in the chamber and opens the portal to hell.
So what you've done there is use so much technical jargon that I have no idea what's going on. You've done the old Star Trek maneuver on me, haven't you?
Sort of, yeah, that's it.
In a nutshell, just distract the crew with a fake problem.
Yeah, because they don't know how the drive works, and he says, well, it's technical and stuff like that, and then they sort of ask for the explanation, but then he's like...
So basically he's doing what you're doing.
Yeah. He's just bamboozling him with stuff, and he's like saying, "Oh, we've got this problem, and if we don't sort it, the whole ship's going to be ripped apart, and then there's nobody going away anywhere because then it's only to repair the Lewis and Clark."
Okay. What kind of tricks is the ship playing on him?
Usual things like dead mums and maybe a dead cat that's come back and said, "You fed me kitty cat, and I choked on it."
Jeez. Polite cat, though.
Or a kid, maybe they stung another kid, they picked up a nettle with a glove and whacked the kid on the back with it, and that nettle still really stings. No, Bobby, it wasn't my fault.
Or like one of those little itching powder bombs that you get off the plants and put it down someone's back.
No, put it down the Jap's eye. I'm itching from the inside.
You just have to lower the tone. You know, those kids listen to this.
That won't make the edit.
How the hell would you itch down your Jap's eye?
Pen?
Pipe cleaner?
Pipe cleaner.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
One of those really small pens from the bank. Or just get a syringe full of water and squirt it down there.
Oh, a cock enema.
Tell you what, monkeys, some little monkeys have got little fingers, haven't they? A little monkey finger.
An eye.
That's it, the eye.
Yeah. Just go to the zoo. Excuse me, can I borrow one of your marmosets? I've just got an itch I can't scratch.
What, those birds with the long curly beaks that eat shells for the sand?
Yeah. With the tongue that comes out.
To get a hummingbird, yeah.
Hummingbird.
Just put a little flower around the end of it and just get it pretend. Come on, you're almost there.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Gory damn hell. Those plans were masochistically diabolical. So in summary, we had the best army against hell. We had Craig's Satsuma solution. We had Ben's Club Tropicana Limbo 1-2. And my Technobabble Double Cross. But there can only be 1, 2, 3 or 4 people going home with the points today.
I've just thought of a very funny way of announcing my vote, which is only a month and a half out of date as we speak. So it'll be 2-3 months out of date by the time this gets released. But it'll make me laugh.
You're going to say, what's up?
What's the thing you say about there's certainly no less? What's that bullshit? I can't remember.
Remember, each vote is worth 1 point. No more, but certainly no less.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so each vote is equivalent to 1 point. No more, but
certainly no less.
You can't introduce this fucking 4 episodes from the end of the season.
Oh, it's sweeping the nation. It's sweeping the nation.
Craig, please reveal who you have voted for.
Well, despite his protestations to the contrary, I actually quite like the plan of the best, etc.
Oh, very good.
Ben, who have you voted for?
I voted for the plan that I thought was closest to the theme of the film, and I have voted for Adam.
Oh,
Adam.
And I've drawn a
thank you
little
very
hummingbird
much.
scratching a penis.
Oh, yeah. The best. Who have you voted for?
I'm holding the envelope. I'm opening it now, and my eyes see Craig.
It's Al Pacino, ladies and germs. Al Pacino at the Academy Awards.
What do you got? What do you got?
I shall make that 2 points for Craig.
Ooh, 2 Craigs.
How did the Limbo not get a single vote, you sons of bitches?
I just liked the babble of the Satsuma.
Satsuma.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, I think it was the raisins that.
To put you off.
Yeah.
Reasons put everyone off. Damn it.
The reason was the raisin. Raisin was the reason. Come on, this is a Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld conversation. The reason was the raisin. Come on, was the raisin the reason? The reason was the raisin. Come on.
So, best. What has that done to the diabolical leaderboard?
Things have changed somewhat. Streaking into the lead with 18 points is Craig.
Woo! For fuck's sake.
Joint second place with 16 points is the best, and Adam. And bringing up the rear with 14 points, it's Ben.
Where did it all go wrong? I've been leading for most of the season.
Still all to play for. 12 points up for grabs.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Still a lot of points there.
I'm trying to think, when they hobbled that tennis player, how can I do that to Craig?
How can you Tonya me?
Maybe like a high-pitched noise. I'll play it through the media board.
Just all three of our noses start bleeding.
And that about wraps things up for another week. We are available across the socials on @DiabolicalPod. So why not talk back at us? Maybe suggest a film you'd like us to cover. You never know, you might even get a reply. Join us next week, where we welcome fellow podcaster Matt Spectro from Matt Spectro Through the Multiverse to dissect the villainous plot of the film Krull. So until next week, dear friends, you can't leave. She won't let you.
It's ominous, isn't it? Shouldn't want to leave it on such an ominous note.
Club Tropicana drinks are free.
Fun and sunshine, there's enough for everyone. All that's missing is the sea. But don't worry, you can suntan.
Got a fucking problem with Sammy. Fuck off.